I can have your attention, please? Huh? Okay. We're going to call this meeting to order, the regular meeting of April 21st. And roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar.
Here.
Councilmember Gross.
Here.
Councilmember Kusamoto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy.
Here.
Mayor Graham Mejia is excused.
Okay, we're going to have Councilmember Kusamoto lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Councilmember Gross with the invocation. Please remain standing.
Please rise and join me with saluting our flag. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. We ask your blessings this evening as we gather as a city council to do the business and the work of the city of Los Alamitos. We ask that you watch over the council members, help us make decisions that are in the best interest of the entire community. We ask that you watch over our city staff, administrators, our police department, fire department, and a special blessing for those men and women in the armed services who are protecting our safety worldwide. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
We have several presentations today, so the council members will join me down in front. We will start. Corey, you'll do the first one? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Corey, do you need it darker? Do you need it darker? Okay.
Community Services Director Corey Lakin will present certificates to all the members, all the sponsors of the Race on the Base, which, as you know, was very successful this year.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Hope everybody's having a wonderful night. So I'd like to tell you very briefly, very excited that we just concluded in February our 33rd annual Southland Credit Union Los Alamitos Race on the Base. Took place on the Joint Forces Training Base here in Los Alamitos. We had a record crowd, 4,438 participants. That is our largest race ever. And very proud that thanks to the 32 sponsors that we had, we were able to put on a very, very successful race. Without every single one of them, it is imperative that we have all of them in order to make the race as successful as possible. We want to thank all of our participants as well. Obviously, that's what we do it for. So several Los Alamitos residents, businesses, organizations participated, and we're very, very excited that it was such a success. Mark your calendars now. February 28th, 2015 is going to be the 34th annual, so we're looking forward to all of the sponsors returning, plus all of our participants. But tonight is all about our sponsors and recognizing them for everything that they have done, and the council wants to provide them with a certificate and a thank you for their contribution. So we'll make as much room as we can because we've got a very large group. So I'd like to start with our title sponsor. This is the third year that they've been our title sponsor with the Southland Credit Union. Go ahead and stay up here. And our next sponsor that we'd like to recognize is our food sponsor, Johnny Reb's Southern Roadhouse. Just a little side note on Johnny Reb's. They served every single participant at the Race on the Base, every single vendor, every single staff member, and every single volunteer. So you're talking about serving approximately 5,000 people, and the longest the wait time was 17 minutes that one person had to wait in line. So they've got a very, very good system, and we're really excited to have them back this year. Next, I'd like to thank Pacific Coachways. And they transported all of our volunteers this year out onto the course. Next, I'd like to bring up Trend Offset Printing. Another Los Alamitos-based business who printed nearly 65,000 brochures for us. Sir Speedy of Los Alamitos. Printed our Save the Date cards, 15,000 of those, and 1,500 posters that we were able to put around town. From OCNN, or the News Enterprise, John, Ted. Ganal Lumber. Cottonwood Church. UPS. UPS is our gear check sponsor. They bring out three of the big trucks, the brown trucks, and they're labeled so each of our participants can have their items sorted, and they've got it well wired. It's a really cool system. Kelly Paper. Helped us with all of our paper needs. Feds Get Fit. The Rotary Club of Los Alamitos Seal Beach. And Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. So this small group up here is about half of our sponsors. So it just goes to show what a great community we have here. All of these businesses and organizations coming together to help make this such a successful event. So if we can get all together to take a quick picture. And I'm sorry, I left off one, Trident University. Did I forget anybody else? We've done this in the past, so I do apologize. Okay, hopefully that's it. So, if we can get together, everybody get nice and snug and close. We can take a group picture. We'll take a quick picture, and then we'll introduce the men and women in uniform. Good, Ted? All right. Well, go ahead and stay put. Stay put. Next, obviously, we couldn't do this event without the men and women, the Joint Forces Training Base. We've been doing over there for over 10 years now. It's a great partnership. We do our 4th of July event over there as well. So thank you all, not only for your service, but for most definitely your help with this year. So representing the men and women of the Joint Forces Training Base, bring up Captain Samuel Cho. Master Sergeant James Fox. Sergeant First Class Blanca Potes. Sergeant Lance Fuller. And Sergeant Marco Chavez. So let's get one more group photo. Make sure everybody can be seen. Are you guys good? Do you need more people to come in? Make sure you get in there. Sergeant Chavez, you can lay on the floor in front of everybody. There you go. All right, one more round of applause. Thank you very much. If I could ask the Joint Forces Training Base folks to stay up here, Southland Credit Union folks, and Johnny Rebs and the council to stay up here. We have another quick presentation. So every year, as part of this event, we work really hard to raise some proceeds and donate them to the Joint Forces Training Base through the MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. They do really good work for the men and women at the Joint Forces Training Base. So on behalf of the City of Los Alamitos, on behalf of our title sponsor, Southland Credit Union, and on behalf of Johnny Rebs, who has what they call a shell out campaign. If you've ever been to Johnny Rebs, they have peanuts on the table, and basically if you feel inclined, you're welcome to make a donation to the charity of the month, and they selected the Joint Forces Training Base MWR to be the recipient, and they actually extended that. They usually do 1 month, and they extended it for over 2 months in order to raise some money. So Johnny Rebs was able to raise $3,189 to give to them, so I will give that to you. In addition to the $10,098 from the City of Los Alamitos. So go on, let's grab one more photo op. All right, and thank you again, everybody. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
The back row. Okay, next we have the Service Academy nominees and appointee. Andrew Chaidez, Karen Kim, Vincent O'Reilly, and Haley Fessenden. Please come forward. Andrew, nice to meet you. Congratulations. Andrew. Yes.
Okay, they've got yours.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Vincent?
Haley's down the end. Haley got somebody else's. Andrew is a Air Force Academy nominee, and then Vincent is a West Point nominee, and Haley is going to the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, one beautiful little city if you've never had a chance to be there. In fact, all three of these places are magnificent if you've never got a chance to visit. And the pride that is shown by the people who work and live at this facility will just overwhelm you. So thank you all very much for coming. Yes, okay. When did you hear? Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll begin.
congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we have a certificate for Ann Busenkel. Ann has dedicated over 46 years of service to the community of Los Alamitos. She's retired from teaching at Los Al High after a 35-year career, and now is serving as a board member of the St. Isidore Historical Society serves as president of the Fine Art Affiliates, a philanthropic organization that supports the college at Cal State Long Beach, a beautiful facility there. So, thank you. Join us here for a picture. Would you like to say something? No? Okay. Would you like to
Yes,
run
I
for
do.
council?
I just think how lucky we are to live in a community like this where we have such great opportunities to volunteer and to be involved with things like Race on the Base, with our schools, our wonderful schools, Sherry, and all the wonderful things like St. Isidore's Historical Plaza. And I encourage everybody to get involved with something.
Thank you. Thank you. That's done. Okay, we have a proclamation for Public Safety Dispatcher Week for a group that I actually get to work with personally at Westcom. Lindsay Lenart, Valerie Oberly, and Marie Pope, please. Thank you. You do? Okay. Well, you're welcome. Could you turn around for a picture here?
Thank you.
You guys can stand in front. You're all the right size for the front row. Thank you. Would you like to say something? Come on, who's the talker in the group? All right. You talk all day for all day, right? Thank you. Let's have a proclamation for the DMV Donate Life California Month to Raquel Gonzalez. Okay. And finally, if I could have our coaches come up, please, from Los Alamitos High School soccer team. Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Who would like to introduce the girls? Okay. We're going to turn the mic over and introduce the teams.
A couple girls that I would like to introduce is Allie Emmons. A young lady this past year, she was the Offensive Player of the Year for the Sunset League. She is obviously she was ready for this event, so I'm teasing. She's actually going to Long Beach State on an athletic scholarship for soccer, so congratulations to that. Another young lady I want to introduce that played for the JV program who also practiced varsity this year is Francesca Frasca. Come on up, young lady. This young lady is going to be a junior next year. She has a lot of expectations to fill, but we're definitely very excited for her future as well. And I'm going to introduce one more. One of my assistants this past year is Eduardo Nunes. He's been with the program for the last 5 years. My right-hand man. So again, thank you very much for all the support. Sherry, thank you very much. Fabiana Frasca as well. Yeah, I'm going to go from there. Gentlemen, thank you very much as well.
We're going to give you these for the girls. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Doctor, would you like to join us? Thank you all.
Nicely done, Mayor Pro
I
Tem.
only forgot about a third of the stuff, Wendy, so. What'll happen here? I'm out of order. I lost my page 2.
Page 2.
It's on the back of page 1. Thank you. Okay, we'll now open it up for oral communications for those of you who are left. Anybody who would like to come forward to speak on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council is welcome. Remarks are to be limited to not more than 5 minutes per speaker, please. No one. This is a first. Okay, seeing none, we will close the oral comments and go on to the register of major expenditures. May I have a motion?
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
A roll call vote, please, Wendy?
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Councilmember Gross,
Yes.
Councilmember Kusamoto,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Graham Mejia, absent.
Okay, we'll go on to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be acted upon by one motion unless a council member requests separate action on a specific item. Anybody?
Hey, I want to pull B, the warrants.
I'll move the balance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman?
On the warrants, and I spoke with the city manager regarding this matter. On one item, I would go ahead and move to approve everything, but there's one payment to John Underwood, who both serves as a producer as well as a TV commissioner. So in past, I've asked for a separate report on that with the warrant and all the details of the reimbursement, just to keep things all in the open. So I asked for that. So I would move everything to be approved except for that one payment to Mr. Underwood.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm sorry?
You can ask for anybody opposed.
Oh, opposed?
I'm going to vote no, but let me explain that. I asked a similar question for the city manager, and the reasoning being is that the commission is meeting currently trying to resolve what the commission pays for, what the city pays for. This was a charge to cover the POA, Police Officer of the Year ceremony, and it was charged to the LATV, and they're still discussing what items should be charged to the city versus to the limited funds that LATV gets. So I'm opposed to holding up payment on it, but I'm sure it'll come back to us, so that's the reason for my no vote.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 9, the public hearing. A zoning ordinance amendment 1401. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. We have Community Development Director Steve Mendoza do the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. At the end of every year, the Planning Commission reviews land use topics that may have need code amendments or cleanups. These are usually things that come up during the year as a form of discussion, and they take the opportunity at the end of the year to spend a few of their meetings discussing some changes. Two of the most recent changes are related to driveways, and then another topic related to accessory use structures and guest houses. But that'll come to you at a later date, that second topic. Tonight, the driveway-related topic is being presented for your consideration. In doing so, the Commission first passed the resolution of intent, which is their first step towards addressing a change in the code. They have to do it either by somebody applying for an amendment, or they have to do it by adopting a resolution. And that kind of puts it on their calendar, for lack of a better term, of topics they would like to discuss. So the resolution of intent was passed, and then they spent the next few meetings in January, February, talking about driveways and some land use controls that may not be sufficient enough in the code to address such issues. And I'm not getting in advance, I'm sorry. Some of the changes that they implemented were a 4 by 16-foot landscape median next to the driveway. If I could move on the presentation for a second, I'm going to show you what that is intended to address. Here. This no man's land, right here, next to most driveways, is a very difficult thing to maintain for most residential properties. And in the city, they've become a third parking space or an area where people pave and then park diagonally across. And the commission wanted to address the issue by making sure that people could landscape a portion of it, but that it didn't become a sea of concrete in a front yard. And so what they decided to do was make sure that people stay 4 feet away from the property line in adding any concrete to the driveway, and reiterating the part of the code that says a driveway cannot be more wide than your garage is. The intent of your driveway in days before people had 4 cars per household was that your driveway was used as a passageway to get to your parking spaces, which were in your garage. So the Planning Commission worked during 3 meetings to kind of address this issue and take care of this issue for the City Council. And then another part of the code that really wasn't well addressed was can a residential property have 2 driveways? Can you come to the city and get 2 driveways, and can the city have something in the code that either would prohibit it or allow you to have an opportunity to obtain approval, both from an engineering point of view and a planning and zoning point of view? The planning and zoning point of view is from the sidewalk up to the house, if you look in the right picture. The engineering department would review it at the sidewalk level because that's the public right-of-way. That's the city's property. So the engineering department really didn't have any teeth to regulate somebody's desire for a secondary driveway. Well, the more secondary driveways you allow, the less curb space you lose and the less parking you lose. So the Planning Commission studied that topic as well and decided that there would still be some exceptional circumstances where somebody may want a second driveway. And so they added the caveat that if they go through the site plan review and then the Planning Commission reviewed that, they would have an opportunity to have a second driveway. Like some of the horseshoe driveways you see on some of the older properties on corners. We've seen a few of those. So what all of this does, if I could try to wrap it up, is it requires that in a front yard setback, a minimum of 4 feet in width by 16 feet in width shall remain on the right side or left side of the driveway, depending on where the driveway is. It amends a different section by adding the new subsection to provide that only 1 curb cut per parcel shall be allowed in conjunction with the development or renovation of any residential use. Previously approved ones are grandfathered in, and it states specifically in the code, we're not going after anyone who did this before. It's from today on in. And then the second to the last section is 12.08.030 to make clear that the curb cuts, driveways, and aprons require a public works permit, which wasn't previously clear in the code, and that would allow Dave the tool he needs to do his job when people asked about secondary driveways or curb cuts in our parkways. And with that, our recommendation is approve as recommended by the Planning Commission, and first of all, open the public hearing for any public comment that somebody may have in the meeting.
Thank you. We'll now open up for public comment. Item 9. Anybody? Okay, seeing none, come to the council. Any comments for a motion?
Does this come back to us twice?
The ordinance would come back as a second reading only.
Okay. I'll move approval.
Yeah, I'll second.
So,
All in favor?
And that motion is to waive the reading and introduce ordinance number.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kerry? I misunderstood. Warren had a comment. I thought he was seconding.
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah,
Oh, you want to read first?
I can read
Okay.
first.
yeah, go ahead,
and
then I can discuss, it's fine.
So, let's see. zoning ordinance amendment 14-01, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Los Alamitos, California, approving zoning ordinance amendment ZOA 14-01 to amend sections 17.16.090 relating to landscaping in the front yard setback and 17.26.060 relating to curb cuts, driveways, and aprons, as well as amend section 12.08.030 regarding permits for the same, and directing a notice of exemption be filed for a categorical exemption from CEQA.
Thank you.
So I do have a question of staff. So on this one, Stephen, on the existing, I'll say, properties that are now not going to be in compliance with this intended change, he said they'll be grandfathered in. So where is that stated in the code? I looked through it and I don't remember seeing something like that.
It talked about new permits
Okay.
in
So it's sort of
locations.
implied then.
It's implied that way, and then officially, when somebody gets a second driveway, they have something in their building jacket. We have a file for every residential property in the city, and their building permits in that record. If it was permitted at one time, it's grandfathered in.
Okay, so what if it wasn't permitted? Let's say that on the side, the 4-by-16-foot grass strip that should be there, let's say somebody decided to concrete that over and didn't pull permits or anything like that. What would you do in that?
We would have to make a determination whether it was done after the second reading of this code. If it was done illegally after the second reading of this code, then we would have an active code enforcement case. The intent by the Planning Commission and the City Council wasn't to punish previous people.
Okay, whether it was within code or, okay, and then, so how do you know if someone had it, I'll say illegally done prior to the enactment of this
Well,
ordinance?
with technology, we have an aerial photo of the entire city, and we have the ability to research most things nowadays.
Okay, no, that's a very good point. Thank you very much for that. No other questions? Go ahead.
Thank you.
Put it back.
Yeah, you know what, I'd like to, if out there walking and talking to the community, I think there's a lot of homes out there that have this condition that didn't get permits. And I'm concerned that we're going to cause a problem going backwards and have to be a subjective process of who was in, who was out. We got aerial photographs of you. Don't you think it might be a little bit more easier to be very specific that here forward means here forward totally? Or I'm aware of a house in Carrier Row that is definitely had issues over there with trying to do some stuff with their patio and their driveway. And they're very frustrated. And I guess this kind of goes over to homeowners' rights. You know, when you buy a piece of property, you want to have as much rights and privileges as you can, as long as it's uniform. I didn't see meeting minutes in my packet from the Planning Commission, so I was just curious, did the Planning Commission deliberate at all on the pre-existing conditions that were not specified?
Yeah, their intent was to not use this as a punishment tool for anything that already existed. They were clear about their intent. It may not have come through in the minutes, but they were clear in their intent that they didn't want to use this as a tool to punish previous property owners.
So today, as long as from here forward they didn't do this, we're okay?
Correct.
Okay. And I know we did take a lot of aerial shots for our general plan update, so at least within the last 2 years, we have a pretty good picture of where we're at today forward.
Yeah, and we're confident we could enforce this without being too prohibitive on people that had even a questionable existence. We'll tread lightly and cautiously. We're not out to punish anyone. We're not out to use this as a tool to make somebody remove concrete from their front yard.
Okay, great, thank you.
Dean, anything? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Passes 4-0. We will go on to number 10. The mayor has asked that items B and C be pulled. They were put on at her request, and she'd like to be here for them. So we will go ahead with item A, rescission of city council action against council member Warren Kuzumoto.
So this is my issue, and of course I'll recuse myself, but before we go down this, I am a little, I guess, concerned that Mayor Jerry Graham-Mejia is not here. So I'm going to ask the council, I'd be happy to proceed. Do we want to wait until, I'd be happy to wait another month until Mayor Graham-Mejia is back. So how would you want to proceed on this matter?
Any opposition?
to opposition to
To-
kicking it down the road again?
Yes.
This, I think, is the fourth time it's been before us.
Yes, I figure Warren's going to be termed out before this issue ever gets heard, is my feeling.
That could be. Is there a reason to not do it tonight? I
Well,
mean,
we've delayed this because Councilmember Egger was out of town, and then last month, I thought he had to leave early to go to another meeting, and that's why we delayed it from last month. So I'm happy to wait another month. I'm not, this is not going anywhere. It's not getting any worse than it already was, and so I'd be happy to wait, so if it pleases
Okay,
the
so
council,
no
I'd like to go ahead.
opposition? We'll move it back 1 month, please.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. City Clerk, we're going to have the, want to take this issue?
Sure.
Thank you.
We're doing item 11A is the Southern California Association of Governments 2014 Regional Conference. It's being held this year, May 1st to the 2nd. At our last council meeting, Councilmember Councilmember Kusumoto expressed an interest in attending the conference. Once the council appoints a designee, the one night of the hotel will be covered and the cost for the conference is covered. Councilmember Kusumoto has requested council's input on the 4 items that are coming before the SCAG conference. So tonight, council can consider appointment of a designee and provide direction on the action items. I'm available for any questions.
So if I may start off,
Sure.
so there are 4 items that are going to be put up for vote, and what I want to get is direction from the council on how to vote. I did make a recommendation on 2 of the items. One item that I'm not sure on, and I'm sort of leaning towards not favoring it, is the Salton Sea project, which would, I think, look at ways to sustain the Salton Sea, perhaps put a geothermal energy generating plant or something out there. I'm not sure how that would all pencil out, but kind of my viewpoint on that is, if we as a city vote no, I think it's not going to make a big difference. I think there's a majority support, but I'm not in favor of spending the state's money on something that I'm not sure it's going to be a benefit to the state. So that's how I would lean on that one. But certainly we can discuss the Salton Sea item and see if the council has a direction for me to go and vote on this item. So as you know, the Salton Sea, it's a landlocked. It was created by a terrible accident on the Colorado River, flooding it, and it dries up every year. There's no natural inlets of water that replenish it. So as the water evaporates, it gets the salinity increases, and so it makes it more hazardous to the wildlife that's there. I think whatever indigenous fish and birds that go there are probably finding it more difficult to live in that environment. And I think this project is some ways to bring that back and then perhaps create a geothermal energy generating plant there. But I'm not sure how that's going to, again, pencil out in the long run. So, council have direction for me?
I'm supportive of you going and being there, and we appreciate you bringing it to the council. And as far as your recommendations, I'm somewhat familiar with the Salton Sea Initiative, only from the alternative energy process, because I've seen them pitch this project, but I have no preference as one of 4 up here. So I trust whatever judgment you have on that.
I'd echo the same.
Okay, I'm fine with best judgment.
Okay, so if it pleases the council, I'll vote not supportive of the Salton Sea. And the last item is the slate of officers for the SCAG, and I have no idea how to proceed on those individuals that are so named. So I would recommend we support it unless we have unless we have a, I'll say, a concern with any of the officers that are nominated. So if it pleases the council, I'd vote in support of that. Okay.
It's fine.
And then I'll give a report after I get back. I hope to get it for next month's meeting. The SCAG conference is coming up in early May. So but I think I've got direction. I appreciate the council for that.
Thank you.
And that's it for me.
Okay, we're going to have an Orange County Sanitation District update from their retiring chairman, Councilmember Edgar.
Thank you. Just wanted to provide a update to the City Council. For the last 2 years, I've been appointed as the chairman of the Orange County Sanitation District, and I just, first of all, wanted to thank you guys for your confidence in appointing me there. The chairship runs out of cycle from when you guys actually appoint us. So we're on the board, we get appointed in January, and then we're on for a year at a time. What I wanted to do was just to give you guys an idea, after the 2 years that I've been there, what's interesting about the Orange County Sanitation District is there's 25 board members. And so what I was trying to come across in the report that I was giving is that we've basically went through, accomplished pretty significant events over the last 2 years. And something that we've debated over the last couple of years is what is the right policy as a council to appoint people to boards. And I give an example in the staff report of Huntington Beach specifically. So if you look at the Sand District, they process about the equivalent of the Angel Stadium being filled up 3 times in process for their waste. That's all the sanitation across Orange County, 2.1 million people. This plant is in Fountain Valley and Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach does not appoint somebody like you guys have done and been gracious enough to let me serve my way through. And in the staff report, it basically takes 4 to 8 years to end up being in leadership. And it's interesting because Los Alamitos does not have as much of effect as a plant that affects the coastline, like if you're in Huntington Beach. Every year their mayor goes through, appoints somebody to be their appointee to that board, and it switches almost every other year. So they never gain momentum, yet they have a board that puts sewer water right off their coast that affects their economy, and so their ability to influence in a leadership role is kind of limited. So I, again, from the perspective of being in one of the smallest cities in Orange County, being in Los Alamitos, and being probably the furthest from the actual plant, our strategy of assigning people to these boards and being able to be patient, let them work their way through the leadership, if that works out, has been something I think has been very good. If you look at these goals and some of the stuff that's been accomplished, and again, just for I don't need to read through each one of these, but probably the highlights of this is that every 5 years there's a rate case that has to be approved. This Orange County Sanitation District, in partnership with the Water District, has a joint partnership in what they call groundwater replenishment. And we basically together provide support to this groundwater replenishment system that is enough water to service 625,000 people, meaning the Sand District water effluent that gets processed through gets re-put into the water table other than being sent out in the ocean at almost 70 to 100 million gallons a day. So it's a great partnership. We have to be able to go through and be able to afford maintaining that, and we've put about $600 million into the ground into that project. If you go through, we were able to achieve the EPA consent decree. There's a lot of different stuff. Right now we have legislation where we're going through resetting the governance on that board to change out Yorba Linda and Yorba Linda Water District. Really important governance change that we have to do this through state law. And so, again, kind of another experience. Being able to be a part of that has been very, very rewarding as a board member, but also very successful as a total board. So I just, again, wanted to thank you guys. I wanted to ask if you guys have any questions regarding any of the activity on the Sand District, and I just wanted to thank you for having the opportunity. I've served on this since about 2008, and it took about 4 years to get into leadership, and now just finishing off. So again, and Rich, Mayor Pro Tem Murphy is my alternate, and he attends every once in a while to stay up to date in case one of us, I can't make it. And Rich, I just wanted to thank you again for your support.
Thank you. Dean?
I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of the council for your leadership. I know that you've been sought out as a bit of an expert, having lived through this for the length of time that you have, and have done a lot of above and beyond work on behalf of the sanitation district, but as well kept the council informed. So I'm appreciative of that. I think your observation about trying to stay the course when we have council members that are involved is a good one, because I remember that Cypress at one time had a chairman for the Orange County Transit Authority, and we don't get that opportunity as a ongoing thing unless we really get involved and get committed, and not every seat that we're appointed to do we get that kind of opportunity. So I'm very appreciative of what you've done, and a job well done. Thank you.
Sure, and I want to echo Councilmember Gross's comments, thanking Councilmember Egger for his service. And I'll just say I wasn't quite on board with some of the stuff in terms of length of time and the policy, but after having served on the Orange County Fire Authority 1 year, and I'm on my second year, I do understand what Councilmember Egger says, that if we're not there on a, I'll say, more than a year kind of basis, I think our effectiveness that we help for our community as well as the boards that we serve on would be certainly diminished and almost not worth going. So I'm on my second year. I'm trying to inform the council of everything I do on the fire authority, and we are entering labor negotiations right now, so I think there's some, hopefully, a way to brief that to them. And then, again, it's, I've made, I think, a small impact over the fire authority. I'm very happy to do that on behalf of our city and on behalf of the council here, and I do thank Councilmember Egger for his impact at the Sand District.
This, this is truly an amazing accomplishment, a chairmanship for someone from our small city. I figure they probably got $500,000 worth of consulting efforts out of you for whatever they paid you, but it just shows what someone can do when they grab the bull and they're willing to work at it and stay with it. And I thank you for your service on that board.
Thank you.
I'll move to receive and file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Council announcements. Who'd like to begin?
Sure, I'll go ahead and go start with this. So I do want to thank Mayor Graham-Hia for affording me the opportunity to present certificates of achievement to Eagle Scouts at their Eagle Court of Honor, and it was for Mark Hansberry, a resident over in the Rossmore Highlands, and and then the other one is Jackson Fortune, who is I'm not sure what city he resides in, but he goes to Pacific High School. And these Eagle Scouts are members of Troop 658, which meets over here at Good Shepherd Presbyterian Church, and I was honored to be a part of their Eagle ceremony. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, I attended the Precious Life banquet, and I want to thank Wendy Gross for inviting me to attend. We had a great time. It's just a wonderful charity, what they do, working with these women, with these mothers, and providing them a way to pick themselves up. And let's see. The other thing I did want to bring up to the city manager, and I had a couple of discussions with them, and if it pleases the council, I'd like to see if we can donate or allocate some resources to the city manager to look at an analysis on business licenses. I think if there's some way we can attract more businesses here by perhaps waiving a business license for a sole proprietorship if they have a business license in an adjacent city, that we don't have to cause someone, say a tradesperson, a plumber, electrician, they won't have to have two business licenses to do business in both Cypress and Los Al. So I don't know what that does to our income. I'd like an analysis to see, and then if there's a way to attract more business in the city that way and really make us more business friendly. And the other thing, if we can, I'm not sure if there is an existing policy, but it comes down to on our commissions, and I'm very pleased that the Planning Commission dealt with this curb cut and driveway ordinance that we dealt with, and I think that's the way that we really want to work things in our city. And on the Traffic Commission, it's brought to my attention that they're having some difficulty in trying to agendize items that they would like to talk about as a body, and I don't know if we have a policy on who brings up agenda items on those bodies. So I know that I talked with the chair of the Cultural Arts and is it the Recreation Commission, Pete Carvajal, and he says he can add any kind of matter to the agenda would be discussed. And then I hear kind of the opposite on the Traffic Commission from Chair Dave Emerson, that he can't agendize anything. So I wonder if there's a policy, and if not, it's something we can tackle and look into that. So with that, I'll turn it back to you,
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Before we go any further, would it be all right if I recognize someone from the audience for 3 minutes? Debbie, I know you came here to speak, and you never believed me that we'd be done in an hour, so would you like 3 minutes?
I would love 3 minutes.
Thank you. For a very good cause.
All right, thank you. Let me grab Rob real quick, because he's got...
Okay. We'll let Dean go, and then we'll let you go next. Oh, maybe not.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yikes. My name is Debbie Feldman, and I live and work in the neighborhood, and I'm also a member of the Board of Jewish Family and Children's Services for Long Beach and the Greater West Orange County, and I'm also the chair for Race with a View. And some of the council members in the past have helped us out when we had what was a walk, and now we're a 5K, 10K walk run. We provide non-sectarian mental health services to residents of 22 cities, of which LaSalle is one of them, and actually, our services are now being used at LaSalle Elementary. Our mission is to provide a wide range of affordable and professional counseling and support services to assist all people regardless of religion, disability, economic status, sexual orientation. Just everybody is always welcome. I'm here today to tell you about Race with a View and to ask your participation and support. The Race with a View, as I said earlier, is a 5K, 10K, and it's on Sunday morning, May 18th, and I have sign-up brochures. And it's going to be, our starting line will be at Granada Avenue at the boat launch of Granada and Ocean. And the path takes you along this beautiful shoreline, and so you can walk and run on the ocean. And the race is not professionally timed, but it's great for training and for serious, non-serious runners who want to get a start. And we're thrilled this year because we have Alec Michelson from KABC Channel 7 News is going to be our MC for the event. And all the runners will receive T-shirts and goodie bags, and K-Rock is also doing their promotions there, and they're going to fill the air with music. And you can register online it's at www.racewithaview.com. And then, as I said, I do have brochures. And we'd like to challenge this city council to challenge maybe another city council, Cypress, to name one of them, and see, you know, like some of the other cities, when they have Super Bowl or whatever, they come up with these goofy challenges for the mayors or the council people. And so I'm putting that out to all of you. Maybe you'd like to challenge the city of Cypress to something fun that you all could do and get like the most support, and so it would be a fun thing to do. And if you have any questions, you can call 562-427-7916 and ask for Patty Davidson. And I hope to see you all at the race, and thank you so much for giving me the time to speak. And Rob would just like to tell you a quick story about one of the gentlemen that our organization was able to help.
Hopefully you have a different description of brief than Councilman Edgar, but please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I do have to say, before I start, because a lot of you know us, and thank you for I feel very honored that you'd let us come in after all this. But it is such a breath of fresh air to come in and talk about this, and to see you guys and gal working together and really kind of smiling again, laughing, and so it really is a joy that we don't have to be here every minute of every day going, you know. So I just wanted to say that on the record. But I'm Rob Feldman. Debbie and I work together in the city of Los Alamitos. We bleed Los Alamitos blue, you know that, but our organization happens to be in Long Beach. So quickly, the success story will tell you what we do and how the non-sectarian part of how we do it has worked over the years. This organization has been in business almost 57 years. Started with one person. They now have 38 interns that clamor to get their marriage family counseling, all the different hours that they have to get through from SC, UCLA, Long Beach State, big time through Long Beach State, Long Beach City, all of them around. So to whom it may concern, this was a young gentleman by the name of Miguel. And he says, I'm taking the liberty to write and share my story with you because I want to acknowledge the very important role at JFCS Long Beach, the people that work there, and anyone that supports or contributes to keep it open have in it. I was born and raised in Mexico City from a very loving family, very traditional, with high moral values and standards. I graduated from medical school and worked at the most prestigious hospital in the city as a general surgeon. Unfortunately, because of my position and my sexual preference, I became the target of a hate crime. I was kidnapped, robbed, bitten, beaten, hurt, and raped at the age of 35 years old. In my house, in my own bed, I was left and abandoned there because they thought I was dead. When I woke up naked, bleeding, in pain and in shame because of what had happened, I was completely traumatized. I could not call the police because then the news of my situation would be public and it could hurt my family's name. I couldn't tell my family because then they would have to worry so much that they would be scared all the time. I reached out to friends that worked in law enforcement, and they told me that if I wanted, they could find the people responsible and put them in jail. However, I needed to consider that with the corruption in Mexico. Eventually, they would be out, and they would come out and back looking for revenge against my family, me and my family. So I did the only thing I thought possible. I ran away. A couple of weeks, I sold everything I had. I packed and moved to California and tried to start a new life. I left everything behind, or at least I thought so. However, my trauma and my issues were still there, and eventually it would catch up with me. Since I couldn't run away anymore, at least physically, I tried to find other ways to avoid it, and that's how I turned to drugs. At first it worked, but with time it was not enough, and things spiraled down, out of control until I couldn't take it anymore. Right there, I had to make a choice. Either I find help or I will continue suffering until I die. So I chose the first one and called JFCS Long Beach, made an appointment, and started my journey to recovery. I began the most amazing journey of my life. In the few years I was there, I had the privilege and opportunity to work with 4 amazing therapists. 4, so you can keep going in, and different ones work for different issues that you guys have. In the few years I was there, I had the privilege and opportunity to every single one of them was the reason, and that's the exact time I needed them. They guided me through different stages of my recovery, but certainly all of them with wisdom, experience, patience, and love. They created for me a place without judgment, a safe place where I could come and talk about me, my life, my problems, and my issues as long as I was willing to do the work. I have been able to improve my relationship with my entire family, and thanks to the family sessions hosted by my incredible therapist, I have been able to be completely, in caps, honest with them about my life, my past, my present, and talk about my future. The support given to my family during those sessions was outstanding and extremely professional. With regard to my professional life and my personal life, those things are still a work in progress. But guess what? I'm working on them as we speak. I'm relocating to a new area in the country because of work this time, not running away, but doing it maturely and safely without fear, without insecurities and doubts, and without emotional crutches like drugs and alcohol. I have to say that I feel sad I'm leaving JFCS Long Beach, but I'm excited because where I'm going, they also have a JFCS in the city, and I'm looking forward to continue with my therapy work there. One more time, I want to extend my endless gratitude to everyone that I met at JFCS Long Beach. You will always have a special place in my mind, in my heart, and a prayer for you and for your loved ones. Shalom Miguel, MD, flying over Chicago on my way to my new destination. So that's what we do. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to really let you know what goes on there.
Thank you. Sure. Okay, Dean, now it's up to you.
Okay. I'd like to comment about the 4 folks that were here and received certificates from us that are going on to the military academies. Our congressman for this area is Alan Lowenthal, and he put out a program call for students. This is his first term as a congressman, and he put out a call for students that had an interest. He wound up approving 23, as I recall, students to be nominated for the academy, and as we heard, several of them here tonight were approved. These are actually students from Los Alamitos High School, even though they live in other areas necessarily than just Los Alamitos. So it's really great that we have kids that young people that are interested in doing and going on with the military academies, because it's a huge opportunity. I've been mentoring one student that was recommended for appointment by Congressman Royce, rather. And all of the congressmen do this, but it's particularly nice that we've got 4 coming out of our community, and I kind of put the bug in the ear for the mayor to recognize these four and wish them well. So meetings and activities that I've attended are shown on my personal website, which is losal.net. And if you have any questions on any of those, please feel free to get in touch with me. And other than that, I believe we have a meeting coming up on May 5th for, is that budget?
Yes.
Hearing on budget. I would just be remiss at this particular stage, since we have an election coming up that's of great importance to the state and importance to the nation, on June the 3rd. And the turnout, Long Beach just had an election where the turnout was less than 12% of the registered voters. And there is so much apathy amongst registered voters that their vote doesn't make a difference. Why bother? Why try? And you have to do that. You have to become informed on issues. There will be propositions on the ballot. There will be people running for offices, statewide offices, running for re-election, running for new election. Several of our supervisors are moving to other directions. We have new people running for county supervisor. I just would encourage everyone to get information, check out the internet, find out information about the candidates, and then please, this is the one few rights that we have in the United States as citizens, to be able to elect and help forge the future from the standpoint of not only our state but the country. So please make sure that you do that on June the 3rd. It is a primary election, but the top two vote getters in most of the offices, regardless of what party they're in, will move on to a runoff vote in November. If there's a particular candidate that you favor that may be running for an office, if you're not out supporting that candidate by the June election and they don't make it past the June election, they won't be there to consider in November. So in my belief, June is a very, very important election, and so much so that you don't want to be apathetic. You don't want to just let your vote go away. Our soldiers that were here earlier have been fighting for many, many years and generations to preserve that right for us as citizens to be able to cast those votes. So I'll stop at that particular point, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, a couple items. First of all, this evening we also recognize Ann Busenkel from the Rushmore Highlands area, and Mayor Pro Tem Murphy, Rich, had done a very nice job of acknowledging her. And also, I serve on St. Isidore's Historical Society with her also. And the thing that he did mention is that when you get Ann, you get her husband too. And I just want to say that both of them have given a tremendous amount of time and energy to our community. I'm very grateful, and I was glad to see them be recognized tonight. A couple other items. I guess I would just do a little bit of a plug here. I've been very supportive of what we've been accomplishing here with, and there's a lot of different causes in our city, and the Race with the View, the JFCS. Rob gets up and he talks about, like, sometimes he's got something on his mind and he has to get it off his chest here in the council, and it hasn't always been positive. And I think that when you're up here, you also got to see past trying to move the city forward versus really great causes. And I think that this is an excellent cause. I've met pro soccer players. Other than it being a great cause, if you take your kids, you see, a lot of really neat things. And the fact that you have a race, and then hopefully it'll be a timed race down the road. And but I would just challenge. Yeah. And if you go to Cypress and you do talk to their city council and you ask Rob Johnson if he would like to compete in a very friendly way, we would like to do that with at least the city of Cypress, because Rob and I have had a couple scenarios back and forth. And with Seal Beach, I'm not sure what the interest would be, but by all means, I mean, the council's always been supportive of this, not just me. And so I'll definitely plan on being there, and I would invite everybody to be out there and be supportive of that. Coyote Creek Park, everybody in the community, just a reminder, if you look behind Oak Middle School, tremendous amount of work being done on the field there, and we're in a joint partnership with the school district, so it looks like a bomb field, but behind the bomb field, which is going to be beautiful, is the Coyote Creek Park, which this council has taken on as being a really important thing to add park space to our community. And I would invite anybody, you may not know about it, but behind Oak Middle School, you can see that they've put in about a mile-long stretch of passive park. And right now they're putting in all the plants. They've got all of this thing decked out. Brand new, really neat wrought iron kind of country style, southwestern style gate going onto the bike trail. And for some of us that run out there every day and you see that, it's unbelievable. They have park benches and sitting features and all that. And I would just invite the community to go out and check that out. The council's worked really hard on trying to add that as park space, and it's coming to its completion. And the plants are starting to grow in, and it's really nice. So we also we ran a little bit under budget. City staff had done a great job, and so through the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy, the staff went back through and actually petitioned to get the entire asphalt bike trail repaved. So before it used to stop at Seal Beach. When we seen a little bit of blood in the water, a potential opportunity for more money, and we had saved money, we pushed back into the board and got them to keep the money apportioned to that project, and then to have them do the actual the new pavement. So it'll be a new park with a new bike trail through Los Alamitos from entire boundary, not just the boundary of the park. I wanted to acknowledge Steve Mendoza and Dave Hunt, been significantly big players in this. So community is very thankful for all you're doing. And when that is done, it'll be probably the next 2 or 3 months. The big thing right now for the bike trail is dealing with the Los Angeles Flood Control District. So there's like 5 or 6 jurisdictions in that area. And so again, our staff is doing a masterful job of coordinating that. I'd like to ask respectfully, and I guess unlike the Traffic Commission, I'd like to agendize, but on the front as a recognition for Ed Brimmel, who we recognize everybody every month now that's very worthy of this. Ed Brimmel is a longtime citizen of the city of Los Alamitos. He lives in Old Dutch. He's been a big advocate for getting the flood control channel paved, or I'll say concreted in, behind Old Dutch up to Farquhar, where it already was concreted in. He recently put his house on the market. Him and his brother are getting ready to move to Idaho, and for all the years that he has in the city, I think it'd just be very nice to have him come. And Todd and I, we do goodwill checks on him every once in a while because he's had some very failing health. And it would just be very nice to have him. And Todd, I would ask you, because I know you go over there too fairly often, to see if we can get him over here, because sometimes it's hard to get him out of that house. But I would really like to see that if we could, if that's okay with the council. Lastly, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Murphy and I have been very active on the Finance Subcommittee, trying to prepare for the May 5th budget session. So we went through the CIP projects. We went through the entire budget. I want to thank you. I know Rich and I have been kind of grinding through all that. And to the City Council, I would just say we are really trying to make the budget process effective and efficient. It's not above reproach, but if we have anything that we need to go through, we definitely, hopefully we've headed off before we get there, and it'll be a faster process this year.
You want to mention Michelle Finney?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Warren. I also want to make an announcement at the Los Alamitos Medical Center. The CEO, Michelle Finney, has recently announced that she is going to be moving on to a hospital in Arizona. Rob, I know you served on that board, the Los Alamitos Medical Center. He was our community representative, and I think Chief Mattern is that representative now. And that hospital, our council been very supportive of the restoration. Anybody that drives through our city can see something new in the air, and a lot of it's come from this medical center. Michelle's been there 14 years. She's been very active in the chamber, very active in all of the regional charities on top of the hospital, and she will be sorely missed. There is a going away party at Old Ranch.
April 30th, 5 to 7.
April 30th from 5 p.m. to 7. We would invite, I think, the community. If not, just say that Warren sent everybody. No, not really.
Bill of Troy.
I'm just joking, Warren. So anyway, but yeah, and then I think the last thing for the Orange County Sanitation District, I did travel to Washington, D.C. and Sacramento the last 2 weeks, lobbying on some of the stuff that we're doing there. And if anybody's interested outside, it's in the staff report. But I'm more than available. So you can contact City Hall if there's any questions. And that's all I have. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you. A couple of announcements. The American Legion Post 716 is having a Law and Order Appreciation Night this Friday at 6 o'clock, if you could attend. And then the following day, our Congressman, Alan Lowenthal, is having a coffee at the Los Alamitos Rossmore Library starting at 10 a.m. I know it's a little early for the students, but for everybody else, I went a couple years ago. I'd never met a congressman. It was these are very interesting. I want to kind of build on Dean's comments to our nominees. You're really the best and the brightest, and we're honored that you made this choice to go out there, and we wish you all the best in what you do, and someday come back and be in the leadership in the city, we hope. I was fortunate to be able to take the Water Department tour of Northern California. Actually, it's very depressing. Things can only go wrong at this point. We have a bunch of earthen levees that are built on sand, and all of the delta is basically underwater. So in case of a huge break caused by an earthquake or something like that, we're going to have a ton of seawater in the delta, and it would take about 6 months to recover that water source. It was very eye-opening as to what's going on up there and the amount of detail. And if some of you are not familiar with water law, the water law books are there's more water law than there are the rest of the laws. The case law, this is something people fight over very, very seriously, and the dedication of the people I met with was just incredible. So I'm gonna stop there. You don't have anything you want to say, do you, City Manager?
I just wanted to mention the Easter egg hunt was this past Saturday, and it was very successful and well received by the community, and thank Recreation and Community Services staff for doing a great job once again on another great event.
City Attorney?
Nothing.
Okay, we're going to recess into closed session. Would you like to read?
Yeah, I do have something.
Thank you.
The closed session is multifold. Conference with labor negotiators regarding both the CEA and the Police Officers Association. There's evaluation of city clerk. There is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation regarding 3 items under Government Code Section D4 or 54956.9, subsection D4. I think, and also conference regarding. No, I guess we don't have. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending.